My name is Kim, and I have a 16-year-old daughter named Natalie, and she recently had a concussion after catching an amazing outfield catch playing softball. She saved a home run from going over the fence. Unfortunately, she fell over the fence after her catch and landed on her head. We didn't think anything of it because she popped right back up and didn't realize that anything had happened. Although the next morning she was vomiting, but she had been sick and coughing and had a lot of other stuff going on, so we thought that was part of her illness. But continued to play in a softball tournament that weekend, probably 5 more games after that. About 3 days after we got home, she stopped sleeping. She was up all night, started exhibiting very frantic behavior. She couldn't concentrate, she couldn't focus. I hate to say this, but very paranoid, schizophrenic behavior. She was paranoid that people were talking about her, that they didn't like her, they didn't, all sorts of arranging of all sorts of different behaviors that were just like not her. This went on for about 5 days, and I finally, a friend of mine who's an energy healer said, did she fall on her head, or did she have whiplash or something like that? And I immediately said, oh my gosh, she fell on her head. We didn't think anything of it because of the way she landed. We thought, and she popped back up, she was fine. So I immediately took her to the ER and said, I think she has a brain injury, please check this out. The doctor immediately told me that I was, just a worried mom of a teenager who was probably having just an anxiety and a panic attack. But to appease me, he was going to go ahead and do a CAT scan. They did the CAT scan, came back and said, wow, how hard did she fall? It looks like she had a brain bleed that then turned into some sort of a cyst in her brain. And I immediately said, I obviously I knew something was wrong, and this explains it. But then he said, go to your general practitioner because we're backed up in the MRI, facility today, so we won't be able to get you in anyway. So we're going to release her and she can go to the GP. Well, it took 3 or 4 days. They did the MRI. They came back and said she's clear, she's fine. And so we didn't understand that, but her behavior was starting to get better, and so we thought maybe it just was a slight concussion. She was having post-concussive symptoms. So once she was cleared, about a week later, she went back to playing softball. So a month later, she played in another tournament. She slid into home plate, and the catcher had caught the ball and was trying to tag her out and hit her in the face with the mitt and the ball, and knocked her helmet off, and she slammed down onto the ground without her helmet. Again, I took her to the urgent care this time to just make sure she didn't post-concussive or have a concussion, and she said she's fine, so we continued to play in the tournament. 3 days later, my daughter started having the paranoid schizophrenic behavior again. This time the TV was talking to her. All of the other symptoms that I mentioned earlier came back, but she was asking if our dogs were robots, and then she asked if the people outside were listening to us, and that there were 15 people outside, and I said, no honey, there's 2 people walking dogs, that's not happening. And so again, I thought this time I really want to go to the right doctor, and I took her to Ventura County Medical Center, knowing that they would try to get to the bottom of what was going on. And I really do believe that I was divinely guided to this. It was a PA, a physician's assistant, who took a look, had her do another CAT scan, and took a look and said, No, she has a colloid cyst, which is a benign brain tumor in the third ventricle of her brain, and this is absolutely the symptoms that are caused by this particular tumor. So this is what's going on, and she needs surgery. She needs to get this out. It's growing in her brain, and looking back on all the symptoms she's had over kind of a lifetime, I realized that this really has been affecting her, more and more as the years have gone by, and I don't really want her to have brain surgery. I think of all of the the detriment that could cause for her in her life. And I know, she's looking for a college scholarship for softball right now, and I don't want her to have to put softball on hold, and right now school is on hold because she can't concentrate, she can't function. She's a 4.0 student who now can't even open a book and focus on it for more than 10 seconds without starting to cry, and it's just amazing that we found this.
How did you find this?
It can cause hydrocephaly in the brain if it goes unchecked, which can cause instant death, and it's just a scary. The outcome could be very scary.
Yeah. How did you find Natalie?
Through Conejo deals, believe it or not. I saw it a while back, brain optimization, and I immediately thought, what are our options? Like, how can we? And I originally came because of the concussion, thinking I need something to help her get through the concussion and bring down the swelling in her brain. And then I had come for a consultation, and then she went back to playing, and then it happened again, and then we found the cyst, and then that's when I called Celine and said, we've got to do something, and as a single mom, it's a daunting, it's kind of daunting financially to it's just challenging to try to get her the help that she really needs. Celine mentioned that, with some of the services that we can get this cyst down, we can help her without surgery, and that to me is the biggest godsend, because as a parent, you just don't want to see your kid hurting.
Yeah.
And she's such an incredible kid. And she really is just a hard worker and just an amazing human. She just loves everybody, and she deserves it.